Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to episode 12 of Amphibia. We are back. After a little break, we are back with more Amphibia. Vampire Diaries just didn't end up working out. So we're giving this another go. We're continuing on with this again. And yeah, we're now entering the back half of the season. So it's gotten better. It's definitely gotten better, but it's still not on the level of shows like Ghost and Molly McGee or Owl House for me, or even ones like Glitch Techs or 12 Forever, or most things, if I'm being honest. A lot of these other shows have just delivered overall better quality, even right from the start, for me. This series still has a lot of work to do, and I feel like it has the potential at this point, but I'm waiting to see like the outcome of that potential. You know what I mean? So we're just going to kind of have to see how that goes. Now, the last episode we left off on was just some basically random stuff, I believe. I don't even remember exactly what happened. There was like a sock puppet. And because they lost the grub hog or whatever, it was like a Groundhog Day parody. And it had this like really was it that episode or was it no, I think it was that episode because I think it was the grub hog that was involved in that. But it had this really fucking weird ending that it's just like came out of nowhere. It's like, the fuck? Because it's like this bird or something snatched the grub hog away and then they like started speaking in animal speak, and it's like, thank you, like, or like, thank you for saving me. It's like, no problem, my lord, or something like that. It's like, what? And I don't remember what else happened because it's like even now, episode 10 is still more on my mind with Sasha and Grime, I think his name is, and just all of that infinitely more interesting than anything that has happened with Anne and Sprig and all of them. That's more of the shit I want. Like, go back to Sasha, make her the main character. Let's just forget about Anne. She's not that interesting. I'm sorry. Like, Brenda Song does a fine job voicing her, but the character is boring as sin. Sasha is far more interesting. I'm wondering when we are going to see that again. There's like 20 episodes this season, though, so I assume by the end of the season that we're going to get some more follow-up on that. I guess we'll see. Either way, we're just going to get this started, hope for the best, and see what this episode has in store. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Sorry about that. It's just a pet peeve of mine, I guess. But, anywho, you know what's not a pet peeve of mine? Having episodes of a show that I really like. This episode counts for that. I really like this one. Yeah, big surprise here. I came back, I talked in the pre-thoughts about, like, I just want more Sasha, get back to that stuff. And it gives us something that, it does resolve a plot line that we've been following, but otherwise is still very episodic. And yet I still loved it. I actually genuinely loved this episode. So we're going to talk about both halves of this and explain why I loved each half. So the first half, when apparently the thespians that were to perform at a theater night that the village is having end up getting eaten and killed because just, casual murder being talked about. Anne decides to entertain everyone there instead by magnifying her phone to show off one of her movies that she likes. So she shows this movie, and it's just this kind of ridiculous fantasy film about this girl and these two guys. One dude's a cyborg who has light up abs for some reason. I don't understand the practicality of that. And the other dude is a really pretty deer, I guess, for some reason, who is mystical and contemplative, while the cyborg is more like, manly man kind of character. And the frogs of the village decide to, have a war over which of these two guys she should end up with in the sequel movie that's, I guess, to come. It's very obvious this was a Twilight thing. This was very obvious a Jacob versus Edward kind of situation. And in its execution, it is just so fucking funny and extremely well referentiated. I don't know if that's the right word, but I'm going with it. Well referenced. That makes more sense. Yeah. But yeah, it's really funny. Because again, as I stated in the reaction, I've gone through this. Like, I was alive during the Twilight fever and everything when all the Twihards were on full force, Team Jacob or Team Edward. By the way, Team Edward because he wasn't a creeper who imprinted on a child. A baby, nonetheless. So yeah, I'm just not gonna open up that can of worms. Yes, just as a note, I have read the Twilight books. I have seen the movies. I'll leave it at that. I don't think they're good. But anyways, yeah, it's clear that same kind of thing. One side of the town supports the cyborg, the other side supports the deer, and they go into this entire massive feud about it. And a lot of it does stem from Sprig and Polly kind of becoming the leaders of each side, already having issues with each other because Sprig feels that he shouldn't have to give up everything for Polly just because she's the younger child. So Anne and Hop Hop try to put an end to this feud and get everyone back together, but it only works once Polly is in danger of having rotten fruit and vegetables thrown at her. Sprig sees this, he gets kind of scared for her and decides to jump in the way because he wants to protect his baby sister. And you know what? You gotta respect him for that. That was loud. Someone started their car out there and it was just like surprisingly loud. But yeah, it was a fun episode. It was really funny. It had great humor referencing the entire Twihard phenomenon. And I like how in the end it's like, let's just watch another movie and just start this shit all over again. But the second half of this episode 12B, instead focused on Hop Hop and his produce stand finally getting the conclusion to that story arc. This has been a continuing story arc ever since he lost the stand when the mayor raised the taxes and he was unable to, pay. So now we finally get the conclusion to that as Hop Hop, when trying to get a new job, ends up hearing about the mayoral election. He stands up against the mayor's kind of old-fashioned ideals and ends up getting nominated to run himself. Apparently in this world, elections involve a lot of like high stakes, like gladiator games, basically. And Hop Hop overwhelmingly defeats the mayor at them. So much so that he gets 100% of the votes in the town at the end, even after he chooses to stick by his guns and not just forfeit the final match, and instead taking the win himself. Because if he forfeited, he could have gotten the stand back and all the money and everything. He would have been set, and it would have been honestly a valid option because of the kids and everything he has to take care of. But he chose to stick with his morals, and that's, in my opinion, the better option. And the problem is he didn't get elected mayor because even though everyone in the town voted for him, apparently for some reason the entire valley got to vote in this mayoral election, and everyone else in the valley voted for the mayor, the incumbent. And it's like, okay, why? This is like got to just be severely rigged for the Toads, right? Because there's no reason that the entire valley should be voting on the mayoral election of a single town, a single village. It should only be that village voting on that. It's their mayor. They should be the ones voting on it because the mayor is representing them. It's not affecting all the other people of the valley. So it just makes no sense. But I assume it just has to be corruption and rigging of the system and everything. And like even the incumbent, even the mayor is like surprised that Hop Hop didn't like campaign in any of the other parts of the valley. So that's interesting in and of itself. But the incumbent wins, and although Hop Hop lost, he gained a lot more self-respect in himself because he fought for what he believed in and stood his ground even when he could have just gave in to pressure and took the bribe and went with it. So yeah, a very good message and a surprisingly entertaining episode. Hop Hop is great, and by the end, the entire town comes together and gets him a new stand, and like I said, it's all kind of resolved. He gets his stand back. He gets to go back to doing his produce selling. That entire plot line is closed. And I think it was a satisfying conclusion. I really do. Even though it kind of leads us right back to where we started with it, I think this episode still did, as Hop Hop basically stated, showed his character. The fact that he has this much more character and quality of person to him than the mayor says a lot more than him actually winning would. So yeah, I actually do like that. So yeah, overall, I enjoyed this episode, both parts of it. I know, shocker. But I really did, and considering it is the first episode back after we took a little bit of a break there again, that's a very good thing. I'm very happy to have come back and gotten into an episode right away that I really liked. And hopefully we continue to get stuff like that. If this series does truly turn around for me, that would be the best case scenario. And as I've always stated, I go into every reaction wanting to love what I watch. So if I end up loving Amphibia and end up truly becoming a fan of it, I'm all happy for that. I'm all good with that. I don't go into this wanting to dislike it. I just happen to dislike a lot of it. Most of it, honestly. But it is getting better, and that is a good thing, and that's what I want to see. So yeah, hopefully it continues to do so. But tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this episode of Amphibia? And yeah, hopefully as we continue this, we should be continuing straight through the end of the season. What we do afterwards, I'm not 100% on yet, but we'll figure that out at that point. I don't know if we can get this finished by the time Owl House comes back. Because Owl House is a donation reward. If we can get this finished by the time Owl House comes back, I'll have to check that on the schedule, like see like the calendar of how that would all place up. Then we might be able to replace this right away with Owl House. That could be good. We'll see. We'll see. Either way, no, we probably won't. Actually, thinking about it. Unless we do multiple episodes at some point. I don't know. I'll see. We might be able to work it out. But in the meantime, like I said, tell me your thoughts down below, and thank you all so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.